I'm a massive proponent in the Destiny community for players being able to play however they want and in whatever manner they enjoy. If you like fusions, screw the haters and the sweats who moan about them on Twitter. Use them and block anyone who's lame enough to care. If you like stompies and shotguns on a hunter, do it. I may find it annoying, but you absolutely should not care what I think about your playstyle. If you want to sit in the back of the map with a lemon arc and finish the game with 6 kills, but you enjoyed feeling like you were locking down a lane for your team, be my guest. Destiny is about playing your way and enjoying what you enjoy and not being sorry for it. But I'm here to tell you that you may be missing out on some of the best that Destiny has to offer by not diving into the build crafting and the perk synergy that exists in the game. It's very natural to feel overwhelmed by the depth of things that you don't currently understand. I mean, I put The Witcher 3 down for years because I was overwhelmed by the scope of the world and my lack of knowledge about it, about spells, about combat, lore, everything. And I put it down after a few hours of gameplay. And it's a darn shame because I cheated myself out of a lot of fun. I missed out on one of the best RPGs ever made, and I came back to it way too late. But build crafting in Destiny, it can feel kind of similar in that regard. There's an artifact every season that has its own mods, and some of them show up on some armor pieces but not on others, right? And there are charged with light mods that were introduced into the game, years ago, and you don't know what you have and what you don't have, and what they do, which ones work in PvP, which ones don't work in PvP. You've got dozens of exotic armor pieces that have their own perks and even do some things that the text won't explain, and they interact with other mods and perks that the game doesn't tell you about, right? And you've got perks on weapons and armor that just says vague stuff like this increases damage, or helps with recoil direction or stability, and you're like, I don't know what the frick the difference is. What's the, you know what I mean? Destiny is not a simple game, okay? It's easy to fire it up and just have fun with the surface level content, but there's so freaking much going on under the surface that the first time you take a peek down there, right, you come right back up gasping for air and you're like, I ain't going down there again. Now, I totally understand that, but listen, in this video, I just grabbed a few different perks and I tossed them together and ended up making an old Sunset sidearm do 81, sometimes 91 damage per shot in PvP. I mean, would you rather have your weapons do 51 damage or have that same weapon do 91 damage instead, right? So try to follow me here. I'll unpack for you the moving parts of this build, and hopefully you'll start to understand how players are pulling off these incredible feats in PvP and how they're elevating their game. And the goal here is, sure, it's to show off a build, but it's also to show you the philosophy behind how to create a build that has synergy so that you can use this as a template, and then you can go into your own vault and you can look at some things and start grabbing and mixing and matching in a way that makes sense and that will create a coherent build for you. Okay, step 1. First and foremost, I picked an exotic armor piece. In this case, it's the Mantle of Battle Harmony. This exotic armor piece for the Warlock is found in solo legendary lost sectors. All you have to do is check your destinations for which lost sectors are blue and see what kind of exotic armor they are offering. Or you can just pull up a website called todayindestiny.com. This is super easy. This website will outline what activities are available that day and what they're offering. Super easy. That'll save you the hassle of looking around your directory and finding out what's up that day. The Mantle of Battle Harmony does 2 things for you. First, it makes it so that anytime you get a weapon kill with a weapon that matches the element type of your subclass, you're going to get extra super energy. So, if you're slaying out, you're getting lots of kills, then you're going to be getting your super faster than other players. So, if you're a Void Walker like me, then any Void weapon will do this. So my sidearm is Void, and my heavy weapon is also Void in this gameplay. The other thing that the Mantle of Battle Harmony does is that it gives you about 3.5 seconds of 20% extra damage with any energy weapon that matches your subclass when your super is fully cooled down. So when you have your super ready to go, the Mantle of Battle Harmony switches gears. Instead of generating super energy on those energy weapon kills, now it's going to switch gears and it's going to give you that 20% damage buff for a few seconds after every energy weapon kill, right? So it sort of changes roles depending on your super status. So my sidearm, which is Void, is going to go from doing 37 to the body to 44 to the body. And instead of doing 51 to the head, it's going to do 61 to the head, right? So that buff is called absorption cells on screen, and you'll see it a lot, I mean a lot in this video on the bottom left hand side of the screen where buffs and debuffs are displayed. So anytime you see absorption cells, that's me having that extra damage buff based on the Mantle of Battle Harmony, okay? So that's the first part of the build. I picked an exotic armor piece. The next thing I do is I'm going to ask, what can I equip in order to really capitalize on the strengths of this exotic? So I decided to equip a Void sidearm that already had some built-in damage buffs, so that I could basically double down on damage buffs. Now usually I like to use my Killing Wind and Rampage sidearm called Brass Attacks with this, because it's all about getting kills and keeping your momentum going. Killing Wind gives you basically like extra movement speed and handling speeds when you get a kill with the gun. Rampage gives you extra damage after getting a kill with the gun for a few seconds. So you can see where the synergy there, where it would pair really well with the Mantle of Battle Harmony. But this time I was feeling a bit nostalgic, and I ran with an old Year 1 sidearm from the Warmind DLC. This is the 18 Kelvins. It's not in the game anymore, so if you didn't get it back then, you cannot get it anymore. If you did get it back then, but you don't have it in your inventory or your vault, you can pull it from your collections. It's a really good sidearm, and it has kill clip on it. Kill clip is going to bump it up to 68 to the head and 81 to the head when both kill clip and absorption cells are active. So that is a heck of a lot of damage when you have both kill clip and absorption cells active. 81 to the head is a melt machine, right? And you might ask, okay, well, how often is that actually going to happen? The answer might surprise you. It's several times a match. This gameplay is literally full of 81 damage headshots. You're going to see that number a lot. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so our build now has an exotic armor piece. That was step 1. Step 2, it now has a weapon that complements that armor so that we can capitalize on the exotic perk. So we started with the armor, then we thought about what weapons would pair well. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to ask, is there anything we can do to lean into those strengths more? Like, can we elevate it? Can we take it? Can we ramp that damage up even more? The answer is yes, absolutely there is something you can do. There's a Charged with Light mod that goes specifically on Void armor. It's called Surprise Attack. This mod only costs 1 energy, so it is dirt cheap. So the trade-off here is that it takes 10 intellect away, which is why people don't like it, right? Intellect is kind of like a really, really important stat value in this game. You want to have your super a lot in this game, more than anyone else if you can help it. But I don't care, right? I'm not going to be using my super anyway with this build, at least not very often, because I want to keep the absorption cells buff. If I throw my Nova Bomb, I then lose absorption cells, and I'm back to the other role that Mantle of Battle Harmony does, and that's generate super energy on energy weapon kills, right? And I want to keep the damage buff, and that's the trade-off. I'm sacrificing using my super for that. So I'm going to be getting extra super energy anyway from the Mantle of Battle Harmony, so losing out on 10 intellect, not a big deal. It's going to offset. In fact, I'm still going to be getting super energy faster than I would have been, right? Surprise Attack, it gives you a sidearm damage buff anytime you reload or draw a sidearm when you are charged with light. When I have Surprise Attack active, and I have all the other damage buffs active in this build, right? If I've got Surprise Attack and those other damage buffs we already talked about active, you're going to be two-tapping people. It's insane. It really is absolutely insane. This is like nuking people with a sidearm, okay? There are clips in this video where I am just steamrolling over people and melting them because I almost always have at least 1 buff active, if not 2 or even 3 active at any given time. I've got Absorption Cells, I've got Kill Clip, or Surprise Attack, or any combination of the 3 active, like, all the time, right? Except for that just initial kill. Okay, so now we've got a lot of moving parts working synergistically together. Just because we started with an exotic armor piece, we equipped weapons that would complement it, and then we equipped a mod that leaned into those strengths even further and helped elevate it, right? But there's more work to be done to finally tune this build. The next thing and the last thing in this template that we're going to do is we're going to ask the question, what's the main weakness or drawback of this build? And as far as this build goes, I figured that would be I figured that it would be difficult to take advantage of the extra damage buffs that I'm stacking if I'm constantly breaking combat to regenerate health in between engagements, right? So say I see a guy, I push the guy, I get the kill with my sidearm, but my health bar is flashing red, and now, like, I've got kill clip and I've got absorption cells up, but I don't have any health, so I don't feel confident enough to push into my next engagement, right? Absorption cells only last a few seconds. Kill clip is on a short timer, and I don't want to lose out on potential damage just because I have to get prepped for the next fight after I win one. So I decided, you know what? We're running Devour with max discipline and max recovery, and voila, problem is solved. With Devour active, I go right back to full health immediately whenever I get a kill. That means I can eat my grenade and then just plow forward. And as long as my shots are better than the other guys, then I can endlessly chain kills until I either run out of targets or they overwhelm me. And I love that. I love just keeping the aggression up. I love going berserk and not slowing down for... I bet you thought I said a swear, but I didn't. I just bleeped the word crap to throw you for a loop there, you know? I gotta make sure that you're not snoozing on me. And there you have it. That's the whole kit and caboodle. That's the whole shebang. Feel free to use this build or substitute any void weapon that you love instead. Okay, you can do this with a Shira's Wrath, Palindrome, Brass Attacks, like I said. Or you can say, screw it. I'm a gamer of class and culture, and no one's going to stop me from using my Reckless Oracle or an Optative if you're feeling feisty. You just do you, okay? Otherwise, take this whole approach and this whole philosophy into your own build crafting, okay? Use this as a template. Start by picking an exotic armor piece, and then ask what weapons will complement it. And then ask, are there any mods or any other things that could help me lean into these strengths even more and elevate them? And then finally ask, what can I do to offset the weaknesses of the build? And as long as you address those things, hey, you're up and running, baby. Do some mixing and matching, get out there and get creative. I love creativity in Destiny. Let me know in the comments section what creative and niche builds you've been digging lately and help other viewers get some ideas. Thanks so much for watching the video today. Feel free to leave a like on the video, only if you enjoyed it. Check out TrueVanguard.com for additional VOD content. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.